Hi, this is Greg with Lionquestfitness. Today, I want to show you Rosie's twin, Carlita, 1965 Chief Special. 5 shots, rated for standard ammo, although you can use a little hotter ammo in these if you do it sparingly. And it's not thought of very much as a self-defense weapon anymore. It's not high capacity, it's not a semi-auto, and a lot of people discredit this type of gun. However, would you believe that in 1993 a gun just like this stopped a terrorist attack? 4 armed terrorists armed with grenades and automatic rifles. So let's talk about it. In 1993, in a suburb of Cape Town, South Africa, an Anglican church called St. James, congregation of over 1,000, nightly service. It was winter time. And the singers had begun to perform and singing, and nobody expected what was going to happen next. Well, there were 4 terrorists. They were armed with Vector R4 assault rifles, and they were armed with grenades that had been wrapped with different types of nails and other pieces of metal to provide shrapnel. 2 remained with the vehicle. 2 more came in the back of the church. They also had petroleum bombs. They were going to set fire to the church. The goal was to kill every living person in that church. However, the back doors were locked, so they were unable to get in with the petroleum. And so they came in the other door. They began throwing grenades into the congregation. Once they threw the grenades into the congregation, they began firing with their assault rifles. And these were legitimately real assault rifles. 11 people were killed. 58 people were seriously injured and wounded. Now, there was a young man named Charles Van Vick. I hope I pronounced that right. And he had a 5-shot snub-nosed revolver just like this, in an ankle holster. And he got behind the pew he was in, and he returned fire. 2 shots. Now, he hit a superficial wound on one of the terrorists, but because they were being fired on, they retreated, ran back outside. Now, Charles began a low crawl to try to get through the door, got through the door, got in an area where they could not see him, and one of the terrorists was waiting to ambush him as he came out the door. But he fired his other 3 shots, and the 4 terrorists got in the vehicle and left. Now, Charles, at that point in time, was a young man, and that was an extreme act of bravery on his part. However, even more brave were the actions of 2 other teenagers. One saw one of the grenades and dived on top of that grenade and lost his life to save other people from that grenade. Another saw a young woman who was frozen in fear and just sitting there like a zombie, and he jumped up and dived over to push her down as a bullet entered the back of his head. A horrific situation, and there are documentaries about this on YouTube. I encourage you to watch them, and it's an unforgettable tale of I get choked up about it, but forgiveness. So anyway, that's not the point of why I'm bringing this to your attention, but it does bring out this point right here, that a gun is better than no gun, and that oftentimes when an assailant, criminal, gets fired upon, they retreat. I'm not saying this happens every time or all the time. Now, a gun like this, and I'm going to quote Clint Smith on this, you better know what you're doing if you carry a 5-shot snub. And I concur with that. But I also want to point out, once again, a gun is better than no gun. And this is Greg with Lionquest Fitness.